effective. We're going to look at a bunch of different variations from across the league. The Knicks love this play. It starts with staggered screens with Brunson and Mitch right here, and usually when you see this, you'd think OG is a shooter coming off this way, right? But instead, it's actually a designed cut for OG to cut through the middle of this stagger, and watch how the Pacers react. Both Nesmith and Turner are going to step in to help, and now Brunson's actually the guy who's going to come off this pin down. He curls it, and he gets to a nice little floater, and even if you don't like the floater, Mitchell Robinson was also open on the lob. So just this little cut through the middle can create enough space for an offensive player, and we see it again here. Different spacing here, but again we see those staggered screens, and LeBron is going to read this well. He knows Wiggins is going to cut through the middle, but in order to cover it, he slips between Schroeder and Reeves, and he covers Wiggins on the cut, but that creates space between Schroeder and Reeves, and now Reeves is going to be out of position coming around this screen. Jackson Davis can rescreen and force the mismatch, and now it's an easy dump down against the smaller defender. TJD can just overpower the mismatch. Love this variation from the Thunder. Isaiah Joe's going to loop down, and Pippen's trailing him early. Joe's the first screener, so we know this cut is coming, but watch Pippen try to communicate this and fall even further behind Joe when he comes around this second screen, but it doesn't end here for the Thunder. Joe keeps going all the way through the handoff, and now Hartenstein blows Pippen up, and Isaiah Joe is left wide open and drills it. But this cut through the middle isn't just a distraction. Steph scores on it here, and you got to think about what this setup looks like if you're Max Christie. You see these staggered screens, you're guarding the best shooter of all time. You better believe he's getting ready to chase and run like hell over the top of these. So when Steph turns this into a cut, Christie's left in the dust, and he tries to communicate the switch, but it's too late, and it's a wide open layup. Here's another really smart use of personnel. Brunson's that first screener, and OG is going to be the cutter because Cade's guarding him, and the Pistons don't want to switch Cade onto Brunson, and they really don't want to switch Ausar off of Brunson. And now the second screener's Karl Anthony Towns, whose shooting gravity is going to pull Tobias Harris away from the paint. So Cade is left alone to deal with this cut, and he's not able to get through that Brunson screen, and this ends up in a dunk. The Warriors are going to run it again here, but I think Tyus Jones actually sniffs it out, and you see he's not going to worry about the Wiggins cut. Instead, he actually jumps to that second screen expecting Steph to come over, but Looney does a good job to flip the angle of this, and Steph drifts off to the wing. That's good improvisation. The Knicks have a nice variation of this play to flow into another action. So Brunson's that first screener. Again, Mikhail's going to cut through the middle, but instead of Brunson flipping around and coming off this pin down, he's going to put on an acting job, act like he's screening for OG on the wing, and then sprint off this zoom action, the pin down into a handoff. And since Mikhail cut through earlier, all this space, this corner's empty. He's got Nesmith one-on-one on an island. Nesmith out of position here, gets him to fall, and he knocks it down. Here's that same variation. OG cuts through, and Brunson's going to come sprint off this zoom action, and he gets Nesmith one-on-one again, and it's the same result. A little step back on the baseline.